Hello, everyone. This is your girl, Miss Sophia the Diva, and I am here to talk about Big Little Lies on HBO. It was a big lie, small world. It was a big lie, small world. All right, Sting, come through, honey. But I know I'm a little late on my episodes, but I wanted to get this in before the season finale tomorrow. So this will be episode 6 of season 2, The Bad Mother. Baby, we found out some stuff about Celeste. I was like, oh, Jesus, it's like the secret life of a single mom. Jesus, what is really going on? But before we get to those big parts, I want to wrap up some of the smaller storylines, starting with Ed. Ed, as you know, last week was down to the bar with Rich Carsby, thinking about hitting up and taking a little lady home to get some revenge sex since he busted Madeleine cheating on him, or found out in the most awkward moment where his stepdaughter has to articulate, well, Mama, you were the one out there fucking the theater director. So now he's very upset, and anyone should feel vulnerable and question about, their worth as a man. So him and this lady are having banter about setting it up, but then she's like, technically we've already committed it because we've been thinking about it, something that we want to do. But then I was unclear, did they have sex or not? What y'all think? On top of that, Jane finds out through Bonnie that Corey had been down to the police station. So I remember somebody had brought up on Twitter, do you think that maybe Corey is an undercover cop? Possibly. But he claims that he's not, and he basically gave Jane the rundown because she was like, I really don't want to be dealing with you because I don't know what you about. He was like, well, she kind of trying to put pressure on me. She basically told me that it's 5 of y'all, and at some point at least one is going to crack, and the one who cracks is the one who's going to get the better deal, and the rest of y'all are just going to be up shit's creek, basically. As you know, the night before court, they had a meetup to talk about what everyone should be prepared for Celeste's guardianship hearing against Mary Louise. Next thing you know, because Bonnie is still out here being all weird and shit, and it's like, oh my God. Next thing you know, Madeleine goes in on her talking about, get your shit together, don't nobody care. I mean, I get that your mama done had a stroke or whatever, but don't nobody care. And then I kind of had to realize that there's always been a little bit of friction and tension between Madeleine and Bonnie because, their lives cross. Bonnie is married to Madeleine's first husband, and they share a child together. And then on top of that, that means that her daughter Abigail has a little sister with Bonnie, Sky, whatever. However it goes. But anyway, so everybody was like shocked that she was going in on Bonnie like that. In addition, Madeleine is having some problems too because Ed, she wants to prove to Ed that she can be transparent and honest. And he was like, I know something is going on. What were y'all out there talking about, basically? And so she had a moment of weakness where she almost confessed and ended up having to go see Renata. Renata was like, bitch, no, don't tell him anything. We have a pact. It is a pact. If you talk, we're all screwed. So I was like, oh, shit. I said, between Bonnie and Madeleine, we starting to find the weak links. Madeleine wouldn't be having these problems if she hadn't been fucking the theater director. But either way, this is crazy. Because Ed is like also on some sort of moral kick too. So he probably would be like, fuck it, lock them all up. Because he don't really care. Bonnie has a lot on her plate. So last week, her mother woke up and was like, kill me. So basically she wants assisted suicide, is what she's saying. Even the father apparently must be on it. And he was like, I really am not ready for this. She's still relatively young. But at the same time, I don't want her to live like this. Bonnie obviously is out of fucks to give because there is no way I would be sitting there when the doctor comes in and be like, so can we just kill her? Really? So if something happens to your mother, they probably gonna look at you and be like, Bonnie killed her mama. Because she did ask the doctor, can we kill her? Because they were like, her condition isn't improving and we've done all we can do for her here. So Bonnie's just kind of like, well, can we just kill her now? I'm just like, oh my God. But there is a moment in the show where Bonnie has flashbacks about her mother as well as where she has written in her diary an absolution of her sins. We learn that Bonnie has been sexually active since she was 13 because she felt unloved. Again, we have this theme of the unwanted, the emotionally unavailable parent, but they're physically present. So Bonnie suffered with that. She confesses that she also has married is because she blames her mom for all of this. She basically says, I was having sex at 13 because I was looking for love. I settled for a man that I'm not even in love with. I was like, damn. And then she said, I also blame you for me pushing Celeste's husband because the truth of the matter is that had been coming for a long time and he became you. I pushed him because he was you. And I can see where she would say that because we all learned that Perry was in fact a big bully. And perhaps Bonnie did push Perry because she was like, no one deserves to be bullied by someone that's supposed to love and protect them, including a spouse. I hope she burns the diary or whatever, or if her mom even recalls it, hopefully her mama won't say anything about it. At some point in this episode, Renata and Gordon are in their big empty house. And the nanny, as it turns out, is there, and she wants to know when is she going to get paid. And Renata was like, this is just to see you later. We're going to basically make sure you're paid. It's not up to us how you get paid. It's the bankruptcy court. Flash forward, they go to bankruptcy court, and this is like a big one for me because I had never in my life heard cheating described in this way as a job title. So while they're in court, she stands up, the maid, the nanny is there, and she's like, yeah, I'm supposed to get paid I think it was $72,000, but in addition, I was told I would get an additional $150,000 or something like that. Gordon ain't shit. And they were like, well, what was it for? What's this additional $150,000 for? And she was like, for stress management. And I was like, oh, shit. He been fucking the nanny. Oh, and it was for stress management. But I was like, honestly, Renata, you should have known because you stress people out. Your daughter stressed out. She had to get therapy. Your husband, and at one point you wouldn't even give him the cookie. He had to coax it out of you last season. So, girl, that's kind of on you, but she was pissed. So I'm wondering if she's going to divorce Gordon after this. Comment down below. Let me know what you think about that. I also was trying to figure out where was she going in this Oscar de la Renta looking ball gown when she was talking to old girl before. I was like, where's Renata going? Speaking of gowns, at one point, Madeleine asked the kids out with Ed, and she in the house putting on her wedding dress, cleaning out her closet, and listening to, hey now, don't dream it's over, hey now, hey now. I prefer the Crowded House version, though. I love listening to that song. But either way, she was like, I thought about, what the wife I was going to be and all this stuff. And Ed seemed kind of impressed by it. But I'm like, Ed probably still going to creep and cheat because he out here creeping and cheating. But let's get into this court hearing with Celeste. This was the big part of this show. And this is why it was so appropriately titled Bad Mother. And my question that I'm going to pose before getting into this is, does it make you a bad mother if you out having casual sex? Or is it a stress reliever? I mean, I was so like, oh my God, Celeste. So before court even got started, Mary Louise was like, family just doesn't stab each other in the back. But I'm like, you did. You stabbed Celeste in the back. And it becomes even more evident that this horrid woman has stabbed Celeste even further in the back because she had a private detective basically follow her. And that's why I said Mary Louise ain't nothing but a low down gutter snipe. Shout out to Yana Van Zant. Okay for that one. She done dug up the bartender. I mean, they had her under surveillance. They were asking Celeste all kinds of questions about, and they had pictures of all these different men. And she was like, ugh. And it was so embarrassing because everyone in the court is like, oh my God, Celeste was out here fucking everybody, you know? And I was like, and the judge was like, I'm not so sure you're so stable. I was like, don't be a prude, judge. Some of us like to fuck to forget. Some of us like to fuck away the pain, okay? So she was just out here getting it in. And I was like, a woman has needs. Mary Louise wouldn't know anything about having needs. You know, her need is to be a social pariah. Is her need to prey upon people and to make everyone prim and proper, but that's not how life really is. So I don't know, is it sexual liberation or is it reckless? I think it's a little bit reckless. I think that it does call into question Celeste's ability to parent, not directly, but what if you catch something from these men, or the fact that it came up in court that one of the boys had come into the room to try to wake her up on one of these tries that she was having with a man, and the man had to tell him go back to bed because he was trying to get in bed with his mom. And I'm just like, Celeste, you know, you're on Ambien. And then the judge was like asking her, girl, are you like getting help for this? She was like, yes, I've been talking to my therapist. And that's the other thing too, is that she hasn't even really worked it out with her therapist about this reckless behavior that she's engaged in. And that's why when you're a therapist, you have to know that you may not get the full picture from your clients. They can't always be honest about everything, because once the relationship has developed to a level where it's more like a friendship, even though we don't hang out and kick it, but we get this 1 hour, these 55 minutes in this room where we talk about whatever, you kind of just have to be like, I can't tell my therapist that I'm out here fucking everybody, that I'm out here thotting. I'm the queen of thought land right now. You know, I'm out here just getting it in, you know. But I'm glad that kind of came up, because there are women out there that are out here creeping and a peeking, you know, they just, you know, and they got whole ass kids. And meanwhile, the detective lady is in the office watching in the audience watching the whole thing go down, and she's watching everyone's expressions. And Bonnie can't even really keep it together, you know. Then after this whole court hearing, Jane had to take her happy ass over to Mary Louise and tell her, you know, what I see is a mother struggling. You didn't have to do all of that. And then Mary Louise was like, are you struggling? I was like, all right, Jane, Ziggy gonna get taken next. I keep telling y'all, Mary Louise gonna try to take everybody's child. Okay, that's what she gonna try to do. And honestly, after this episode, I really wanted to know Celeste's true backstory, because I feel like before Perry, something else must have happened to her. I mean, the girl is on Ambien all the time. And you know, I heard that Ambien in real life does make you kind of out of it and puts you in a haze. So I don't know. But I do like how this episode ended. In the end, I do believe that Celeste will have the last laugh right before the judge can tell what she thinks should happen for the boys. Because, you know, now Celeste is shook, because now she knows her secret, her dark little secret is out. It's not a secret anymore that she's been out here creeping on the streets of Monterey. She says, well, you know what? I had to be psychologically evaluated. I feel as though Mary Louise should be also. And I think that's fair. And quite frankly, I think her fitness as a parent should have been called into question anyway. You're alleging all these allegations, but what is your mental status? You know, you've lost your son too. Are you okay, Mary Louise? So I'm glad that she should be placed in the hot seat before the judge actually renders a final decision about, or not final, but an interim decision about what should happen, what would be best for the twins. Either way, stress management is the new cheating. Well, you know, I was stressed out at home, so I went to my stress manager and got some relief. Oh my God. But thank you guys for joining the conversation with me. I have been Miss Sophia the Diva. These were my thoughts on Season 2, Episode 6 of Big Little Lies, The Bad Mother. Is Celeste a bad mother? I don't think so. She's just a woman that has needs, but I would be a little bit more selective about who I'm out creeping and sleeping with. But be sure to join the conversation on Tuesday night with A Diva Disturbed on BFAM 109.6. This week's guest will be comedian Shaq D. We're going to have a great conversation about his all-black comedy show, as well as the little nuggets he's always dropping that he calls ghetto gospel. That's all I've got. Keep your chin ups, buttercups. Stay fabulous. I'm Miss Sophia the Diva.